I think with everything going on, it is finally time that I do not let people erase my voice. Hi, I am Azrael, or Azzy. I am a trans non-binary person with they it pronouns. I'm gonna tell you guys about my trans experience. Whew. This started when I think I was 18 at the time, where my friend, who was non-binary, told me a lot about what non-binary were. They taught me about binders, they taught me about what they felt, the pronouns, and everything with like, that they didn't feel like either gender, they didn't feel like he, she, he, him fitted them, and they wanted to try out new pronouns. I was ecstatic and confused, because I really related to a lot of what they said, and over the course of a couple of months, I began to experiment on my own. I would have binders. Now, these weren't really good binders. These were like bras that were kind of very small. But it worked, and I was so happy that I felt so comfortable in my own skin. So I began to ask people to call me they, them. Now, I wasn't around a good group of people at the time. They were, a lot of them, very transphobic, and I was misgendered constantly. And my boyfriend at the time was exactly the type of person who would have voted for the Cheeto man. That's what I'm gonna call him. Then, thankfully, I broke it off with him. And on my own, being scared for myself. And sadly, that led me down a really bad hole where I returned to some things. Now, skip past that. I don't remember a lot because I have PTSD and dissociative memory issues. But over the course, I remembered my transition being telling my dad. It was terrifying. It was breaking me inside. And I'm not going to go too in depth about my parents and my issues with them. But I will say I have transitioned kind of socially. And some of my family doesn't know I'm trans still, or knows what non-binary is. To my people outside, I tell them I am trans, because it's easier for them to understand. This doesn't mean that I also want to add as an important note before we go on to my sexuality journey that I wasn't 100% that I was trans. My journey, to give you spirited details, was from what I remember going through non-binary-ish. I thought multiple times I was gender fluid because I kept not being sure enough, because a part of me was blaming myself and saying my trauma is the reason why I didn't want to be referred to as she, her, which made me be in denial about being trans and being non-binary fully for a year or multiple years. I don't even remember how much it was. And then I went fully as trans, he, him. But after that, it kind of snowballed between pronouns, gender, being unsure, being told so many different things, and being fresh out of an abusive relationship, and most of my life being really bad. It was really hard to find a comfortable place, and a lot of it I don't remember, or I would have spoken more about it, but I do recall myself using he, him, going to he, they, and then being so unsure and so scared. And a lot of the journey was also figuring out names. I've gone by so many names that I can't even fucking recall them, but I'm going to say that I went by a couple thousand maybe, just trying to find myself in a world I wasn't really feeling like it was safe to be myself, and I still don't feel like that, if I'm going to be real. I'm still on a journey to be where I am, and I don't really know if I am fully trans or fully non-binary, but I do want to leave this part on a positive note, that I am starting with gender therapy. Here in Norway, it is required to be in gender therapy for a year before you can go with HRT, but I am excited and I am very fresh to this, only being one meeting at the time of recording, but we'll see about it, and I'll let you guys know the updates about that. So if you are scared of or you are able to access HRT, I would fully suggest go with what you feel and don't be scared. I was very, very, very scared, and I remember so many times telling my friends, I'm going to tell my doctor that I want to go in HRT. I'm going to tell my doctor, so many times, and I just kept pushing it and pushing it and pushing it and being like, this is gonna give me cancer, this is gonna give me, make me, like, I don't know, I gave myself so many excuses. But I feel like, to leave it on a positive note, if you want to, and if you are ready for it, and if you've researched, go for it. If there's nothing stopping you, go for it. And for those who cannot access it, for those who are in unsafe places, I really wish you the best, and I hope you feel at least a little bit safer knowing that there's someone else out there who feels like you do. When I was, I guess about 13, 14-ish, I was in a call with my friend, and I told him, or we were talking about Smash or Pass with characters, and I, without really having a second thought about it, said I would smash a woman, a character named Widowmaker from Overwatch. Yes, if you're gonna bully me about that, shut up. And my friend said, but aren't you straight? And I didn't really know how to reply to that. I didn't really know what that meant, because I wasn't really in the space for it, I suppose. But I remember later on, it didn't really push anything in me. It didn't really make me think anyway, but it was the beginning. There was also situations where I was, looking back at it, it was extremely gay, but I didn't really think about it that way, that I had weird feelings for a girl in my class, my best friend. I didn't really understand them, and I didn't really think about them too much. For most of that time, I was considered straight. My brother, who I'm not gonna name or say anything about, came out to me, and I'm really proud that he came out to me. And he kind of introduced me to the different sexualities. Me and my dad, we had a couple of conversations about it, and it was kind of funny because I went from being, I think, bisexual, but I just dated guys. I just kept dating guys till last year, actually. After being in a relationship with a guy and that breaking off, I started trying to date girls. And I got with a very, very nice, a very respectful woman who talked to me and treated me with respect and decency. And though that relationship ended because the person and I didn't really connect in the same way I wish, I had complications of that. Huge respect for them. I love them to bits. They were an amazing experience, and they are an amazing person. It kind of led me to the point where I was like, fuck, I'm gay. Shit. And I'm using the term gay as a means of, I'm non-binary, I used to date it. You might think gay is a very weird term for me to use, but it is also because I don't really know where else I fit. at the moment. I call myself Neptunic, which is an attraction towards feminine presenting people. But not a lot of people know about that term, and it is weird to have to explain that every single time and justify my actions. It's hard. But if you want the official term, I am Neptunic. I am into femme-presenting people, whether they be trans, non-binary, cis women, everything in between. You present as femme, I'm completely fine with you. Or not completely fine, but like I would probably date you. But my dad didn't really know what that meant. And I remember sitting in the car and telling him, "You remember my ex?" He knew about my ex. And he was like, "Yeah." And I said, "I think I'm only into women." And his response was kind of funny, because I remember sitting there being like terrified, like shaking, because I'm like, oh fuck, is my dad gonna not like me anymore? Is my dad gonna disown me? And he said, "I know." My dad had known. And he told me why he knew, and it's not something I'm gonna share personally because it was my personal experience. But he knew. And looking back, I think I should have known it from the beginning, but I think I wasn't taught about it enough, and it wasn't shown to me to be okay enough. I grew up in a world where, as a child, I wasn't shown that it was okay to be gay or okay to be trans. And in this world now, it's very scary, because now it's seen as that way again. So I want everyone below in the comments, if you're LGBTQ, if you are a woman or female presenting, if you are a person of color, I want you, if you want, to share your stories below. Your transitions, how you felt, what your experiences were as a child, how you felt, what discriminations you faced, your stories, basically. I want you to feel free to share them below, because I want my place to be a safe space for anyone, and for your stories to be heard, for you to feel heard by someone. I know I'm not a big creator, I don't know if I'll ever be one, but I want my space to be a space where you will feel heard and feel like, yeah, here I can be myself. There is so many people who hate others because they don't understand them. But I want you guys to show love to one another. Give people hugs. Be there for each other. Don't be afraid to experiment and live a life, because you only have one. And I don't want you to hate yourself when you only have one life to live. It's not worth it at this point. I want you to share your experience, and I want you also to give tips, give suggestions, tell things you were never told, things that might be good to hear, or things that might be better than having to experience this before learning it. And I hope my voice can also be a voice of yours, and that we can continue to be heard, even if we are small. Thank you so much for watching. I think this type of videos are something I really enjoy making, and it is something I really want people to hear, because I don't think a lot of people are